Okay, so what we're going to do now is I've actually added the antennas temporarily and got it hooked up to a scope on channel 6 so that we can see when the radio's paired. So all you do to pair these is you put, I'm sorry, let's get this in the right sequence here. Okay, I'm going to hold the magnet over the reed switch. Going to attach the 5 volts. It's rapidly flashing. You can move your reed switch away, or the magnet away. You hold the button on the radio, and if you watch the scope, you'll see. Here we go. Stopped flashing. I've got my, there we go, my 1 millisecond to 2 millisecond pulse, or actually 1.5 to 2 millisecond pulse, and everything looks fine. So this second radio is working. I'm going to hook this one up and make sure that the intermittent situation I was seeing was because I didn't have the battery sense feedback in the loop. Also, I'm not getting the alarm out of the unit, so very happy. It gives me now a fourth radio, because I've done these two. I've got this one still in this chassis. I haven't pulled this one apart yet. I've got to add the wires. I put these trailer hitches on, and I've got to add the wires now. Anytime you do a scratch build, you're always going to have a few steps forward and quite a few steps backwards, because, at least for me, there are no instructions. I'm doing this all off the top of my head, so you start working and then all of a sudden you realize either you found a better approach or you did something wrong and you got to go back and fix it. Also, I did my scratch build Lanran from Battlestar Galactica. Proportionally, there's some issues, but hey, it was my first time at a scratch build, and what's nice is all of these lights work on RC. I mean, I can turn them on and off, and it works really well. I'm going to go back and redo that again, but not this time. I just too many other things going on. So let me stop this, and I'm going to hook this one up and see that it works. And I'll be using the scope to watch to see if there's any intermittent dropout. So I'll be back. Okay, well, I got the original original receiver package hooked up, and again, I'm hoping that the intermittent situations that I was seeing before were related to the battery sense and not the unit itself. So I'm going to pull these down in, and then I'll get the motor hooked up and we'll give it a shot. So let's get the antennas through their holes, which again, this will be the third time that I've gotten this far and only had to turn around and take it apart again, because I figured out a better way of doing something, or I had forgotten to install something. It's just, again, when you're doing the stuff off the top of your head, you hope your head's fully screwed down, because otherwise you can forget something. So just gently pull this stuff down. There we go. And now alright, get these motor wires out of the way. One problem with a blind assembly is you just really don't know what's going on underneath. fortunately here, I do have a little bit of fidget room. There we go. That should come down like that. We'll tack that in later, but bend these antennas to get this thing from wandering up. And I'll glue these down the side as I had done before. I still have to make an attachment for the reed switch. Definitely had a brain fart there. And as I'm thinking of it, let's see, we'll have up servo, down servo, up down servo, left right servo, Canon light, and trailer lighting. So I think I got to figure out, it's going to be channel 6. I need to bring a wire up, and that will be my control for the headlights. What I'm using here for that is these tiny little boards from Palo Alto. These are RC switches. What they do is they toggle between a high and a low when they see a shift from 1 millisecond to a half a millisecond to 1.5 millisecond, or is it? I think you can flip it where it goes 1.5 millisecond to 2 millisecond. It switches, or 1 millisecond to 1.5 millisecond. I'll have to take a look at the data sheet, but it senses the switching between that particular window. So I'll be using that and set that down in here, and it'll turn on. It'll allow me to turn on and off the headlights. So let me stop this, and I'll get a little bit more further forward, and we'll take a look there. Well, I've got it all put in, and this wire is going to be the extra on channel 6 that goes up to the lighting, but it appears as though I've got the intermittent control solved, so I'm a very happy camper. This does seem to work. I've now got me an extra radio. I think I may be putting 2 of those in my Chariots and getting those things finally up to date. I've got quite a long list of things on my workbench that now that I'm here, I'm going to be hopefully working on and finishing. The one downside to this is the tracks are hard plastic, so they slip easily, but I think I can solve that by putting a silicone coating on here. I'll have to figure something out, but yeah, I'm so happy that the intermittent situation is been corrected. So stay tuned.